concentrate on him. He's the principal actor here. Coach, I guess you aren't a happy person. This is not what you anticipated, you expected. What
Sure.
really went wrong?
I think we just let loose our back anytime we went on attack. Basically, we participated in attack instead of trying to somewhere along the line to also anticipate defending. So as we threw more men up there to try and create the chances to score, we let our back loose, which led to those two first half goals. And I think before those goals, we were tactically compact, we were playing very well. But then when the goals came, I think it took the zeal out of the boys, and then I think we lost our structure a little bit.
Guys, so Coach Ogum, ready for your questions. You mentioned your name, your media house, and your question. One question, please.
Coach, my name is Mutal. I work with TVP. You were compact in the first 10 minutes, but at a point it looks like you couldn't cope with their counter attacks. Would you say there was a problem when you were warming up?
I don't think so. I think we had a good warm up. It was just, I mean, lack of focus. As you try to attack the opponent, you try to see the spaces, look at the spaces you have left behind. But then I think we didn't do that, and that led to those two goals.
Yes.
And Coach, looking at the starting 11 of the team today and the substitution you made in the second half, the introduction of the players, and bringing in Emmanuel entry at the latter stage of the game, what was the mindset going into the game? How did you see the Aqualines team before you set up the way you set up?
I think we all knew that they could play if you give them the time and space on the ball. So we tried to deny them the time and space on the ball. So if you look at until we conceded the goal, we're trying to cover those spaces behind us and in front of us. So we knew they could play, they could pass, they could go on the counter, and we had looked at all these things. But then sometimes the players get onto the field and it's a different thing altogether.
Okay. You have a follow-up question? Make it very simple.
After you considered a second goal, there was a big space in the middle. And I say the kids, I refer to them the kids. They started running through the middle just like that.
Yeah, I think the second goal just discouraged them. We're trying to encourage them to put themselves together, because the game basically is about the midfield. Once you lose the midfield, that will be it. So I think when the second goal came, they just lost their focus and then created some space in the middle of the park for them.
Okay, my brother.
My name is Benjamin. I'm with GH20. Coach, at some point, your players were misplacing passes, were giving balls away. Like you said, spaces were given to your opponent. Is it a case that your players have perhaps a certain time or a time?
It may be that maybe they are fatigued somehow, but then we are managing them well. Physiologically, psychologically, we are managing them very well. It's all about focus. And in games like this, it's all about focus. So it may be, but then before the game, we look very energetic, very confident. I mean, knowing very well that we are going to play well and then get the maximum points. But then the dynamics change.
Oh, yeah, well, happy effect. Okay, dealing with the change that you lost today, the next match is against nations. You're going to affect protocols, 30 minutes.
No, we just have to put ourselves together and then see these two matches, what we didn't do right and what we have to do right, and then look at the opponent to what they are coming with, and then try as much as possible to map up a strategy that can contain them.
Coach, the club released a statement about fans pressuring the players. Would you say the pressure of going for the title is beginning to weigh on these players?
I mean, I've already said that. I mean, the game sometimes when it gets to a tight, stage like this, it's all about the mind. So what the mind feed on can also affect, I mean, skill performance. So as I said, the commentary around the team should be very positive. If the commentary is not positive, it gets into them. I spoke with them yesterday. They were very much aware about the negative commentaries about themselves, about the coach. And I told them that it's something that they need to overlook and then focus. When we get the maximum points, they are the very people who will come back. So I've been trying to engage them. You can't play for Kotoko and you can't be mentally tough. Have to be mentally tough. So even though those commentaries when we drew against Beijing were not pleasant, you still, as a player, as a coach, you need to still be strong mentally and get the job done. Once you get the job done, the supporters will come back.
Okay, thank you.
A quick follow-up.
Okay, Ben.
With all these negative commentaries from the fans and all that, whilst your team is at a summit, you're supposed to be getting the support from the base, but they are rather angry as you are talking on. How do you personally feel about that? Do you feel disappointed that your fans are not supporting the team, but when they are on top, but are now coming at the players at this crucial stage?
For me, I'm able to manage anything that comes my way as a coach. I'm a mentally tough person. I know the nature of the profession I find myself in. Such commentaries will come. I have to stay focused. And for the players, individual differences. So some may be able to contain it. Some may not be able to contain it, and it will affect performance. But then, as you rightly said, a team that is at the summit of the table, it draws or it loses some vital points at home, and then suddenly from nowhere, negative commentaries or unpleasant commentaries begin to come in and around the team. Things that when you track them, they are not true. Are all being said about the players, about the coach, especially when you do some of these things, it affects. The emotional state of the player and the technical staff. So, we just have to. As I said, for me, I can manage certain things. But what about the players? If they are unable to manage, you get performances like this. In front of you, they will behave like, oh, coach, we are fine. We can work. But then they come and then they make the first error, and then the booing and the hooting start again. And then they remember what is already out there for them. And then it affects their skill performance.
Okay, two more questions. Colleagues? Yes.
Look at the last two performances of
Your name and your media house?
My name is Nadebu, Smart TV. Looking at your last two performances in the Ghana Premier League, are you still on course with winning the Ghana Premier League and the FA Cup?
There are some games to go. You never know what will happen. The game is full of surprises. We have to put ourselves together mentally. I think the key thing now is our mental toughness. We have to put ourselves together mentally. Me as a coach, I'll be able to cope. What about the players? Maybe they cannot cope. So if the player in his own free time cannot focus on tactics, but is rather focusing on something negative that is being said about him or that is being said about the coach, how can the player be able to transfer, what he has learned onto the field? So for now, it's all about we being mentally tough and going out there. 7 more games to go. You never know what will happen.